Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everything Paranormal with Marc and Jeff. I'm Marc.
And I'm Jeff.
And happy Friday. It is break TGIF. Jeff, never mind Jeff here. He's just eating his lunch, dinner / supper here. Well,
I'm almost done.
yeah, it's all right. All right, you can swallow. So what's new, Jeff? What's going on? Can you speak with a muffin? With a muffin?
Not much. Moved into my new haunted place.
Oh yeah, how's the activity in that place going on?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you. Well, the first night I was there, the lights, when about 2 in the morning, the light in the closet went on.
Right. Oh, your first night there, right?
Yeah. So I'm like saying, let's just don't piss me off right now, And I think they were just showing me what they could do.
Yeah, that's folks. That's where he just moved into that the haunted mansion we just broadcast from last week.
Well, right across
Yeah.
from it, but
Yeah, it's on the property, right?
the whole ranch is freaking haunted.
It's like in a building adjacent to it. Yeah.
So then I hear noises. I hear like people talking all the time. I don't know if it's in my head or if it's them, but I think it's outside my head this time.
No, because we were in there before and we heard that a couple times ago when we investigated it. We could hear.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some ghost
You could hear
watching
conversation.
probably this weekend.
Yeah.
Then Wednesday I had the boys over, my 2 kids,
Yeah.
and there's like a walkway going from the living room area, and you can see right down into the sales office downstairs where they do the sales for the development.
Right.
And along the ceiling, there's like this row of lights. And then, like, you put it on, it's like Fenway Park,
Yeah.
So I was showing Sam. I'm like, Sam, check these lights out. And it just, I put them on. Then I shut them off. So then I go and I bring them home. And I come back and those lights were on.
Huh.
So, and then still voices.
The kids messing with you.
No, because they left with me.
Yeah. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah. And then I found a box of old letters upstairs. Like, this guy was writing a diary. He wrote all kinds of poetry. And
How old?
it's from
Are
the
they dated?
70s. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if he's still alive. I gave it to Meredith, my neighbor, and she's going to look through it.
Right.
Who works in the haunted house. She has an art studio there.
Right. Well, she was the reason we first got called to that place in the mansion part, right?
No,
Or
we
was
were
it
there before she was there, remember?
Oh yeah.
But it was empty.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah. She came in and she was complaining about it.
Hey, you know what's funny? Is, I got pissed at him and I booted him out of my place, and she's like, all of a sudden the activity's crazy over here. Like, I guess they went over there.
Yeah, he relocated.
So, I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but have to do some cleansing over there, too.
Right.
But, yeah, no, it's good. I'm pretty much moved in. I got a few things left to do and working and whatever.
Well, you go next week, and then we're taking next week off. There's no show next week. It'll be Friday, July 4th. Independence Day is my fireworks sound effect.
That's right. Even losers like us have a life.
Yeah, you have a life. Well, we're going to go hang out in Salem downtown. They do the great, fireworks and big band and everything. It's all good.
Yes.
All good. So how's your blog going? You still doing your blog?
Yep, but I've been kind of slow on it lately because I'm getting this stuff done, but I'll be back at it this week. I'm
Nice.
actually thinking about it, put some stuff up there.
Awesome. What's in your blog? What do you do? Your it's called what? Jet story, or is that's?
No, that's my Twitter thing.
I'm all confused now. That's your Twitter. That's what you tweet.
That's it. Angelsguide.org. They do numerology, life coaching, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about it next week. I haven't done much on it lately.
See that every week. So we'll address that in a couple of weeks.
Although I think people are going to it because I see more visitors.
Well, we do have a couple of listeners now, so
Yeah.
we're doing a lot better.
Yeah. There's like 7 new visitors last week.
Right. You check out my website, witchcityghosts.com. I'm still actually pretty busy doing ghost tours in downtown Salem, Mass. But using the equipment and all the real stuff. They're not like the ghost stories. It's the real stuff where you are the investigator. And usually a group of 10 or more would be great. And we have a good time. It's about a 2-hour walking tour. So if you're in the area, come on down and check out the website, witchcityghosts.com. Now, let's get on to our first guest. Our first guest is an author. The book is My Journey Down the Reincarnation Highway. If you read about the author, just Google him, right? He said, honestly, I'm not that big of a deal in my current life. Life number 99. Isn't that crazy? He's from Ohio. And he considers himself a low-power psychic And he'll explain that more to you as we go along. Frank Maris, welcome to the show, Frank.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you. We're thrilled to have you. We have so many questions for you tonight. First, tell our listeners a little about yourself, where they can find your book and social media and all that good stuff.
Sure. Hey, it's easy to find. You can find it on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and other ebook outlets. Also available in paperback and hardcover, so easy to find. My website is reincarnationhighway.com, and that's about it.
It's a fascinating subject. It's really good. How did you discover reincarnation?
The hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to have my father die, believe it or not, to start me on that road. I was an atheist all my life, and I did have a problem with religion. Everybody to his own taste, But to me, I just couldn't buy into it. But I was really close to my dad, and 9 years ago he passed away. And and I'm in my 50s now, and when your dad passes away and you're in your 50s, you start looking at that dark hole and start thinking about your own mortality. So I decided to give it one last try to see, is there anything else out there? And so, to make a long story short, I thought, or went through a lot of thinking, and I realized I'm a guy who has to prove it. I think you guys mentioned you're ghost hunters, if I heard you correctly.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you go out and look for evidence, and so did I. And so what I came up with is that if you can go out of body, have your consciousness leave your body, well, that'll prove that your soul can leave your body, and that means that there's probably an afterlife. But how the heck do you do that? And so I started to read more, and to induce out of body, a lot of people use meditation. I didn't believe I'd be able to do that at all. But hey, what else? What I had to lose.
Right.
So I started to meditate, and right away I started getting some reactions. My body would kind of sway and flow, and I get some picture visions. Pretty cool. And after about 3 weeks, I got what I asked for. Because you put something out to the universe hears you and gives you what you want.
Yeah.
And so,
It's true.
one evening I meditated, then I went to bed, and I had a dream. And in this dream, I'm in my bathtub. I got a jacuzzi bathtub, and I oftentimes read in there. So I'm dreaming that I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
And in this book, a child dies, and and the parents are all upset. And I start thinking, well, that's okay. The parents will see the child again in heaven. And I stopped. I go, wait a minute. I'm an atheist. How could I say something like that? And
Right.
just then,
Right.
yeah, but just then, something grabs me from behind underneath my underarms and yanks me up in the bathtub. I'm thinking, what the hell is that?
Wow.
Then these hands stand me up in the bathtub. But before I could react to that, it threw me, whoever's behind me, threw me through the ceiling. And as I'm going through the ceiling, now this, mind you, I just turned into a ghost. I go through the ceiling, I see the joists in my attic as I pass through them, and I go shooting out the roof, and next thing I know, I'm 150 feet above my bedroom roof.
Wow.
And I'm going, what the hell is this? And I look out, and the stars are absolutely brilliant. I've never seen stars so brilliant before.
Well,
Then I had not close, it's just brilliant. It's just like, I was just in a different dimension. And then I had that Wile E. Coyote moment. Do you remember in the Roadrunner when the coyote would chase the Roadrunner over a cliff, and next thing you know, he's suspended? Remember that old crap moment?
Whoop, and he looks down, yeah.
Yep. Well, then I fell right back down on my bed, and I woke up, and I looked at my clock radio, it said 3:07, and I'm freezing. And I never get cold at night. And I read that when you go out of body, the body gets cold. And I said, was that real? And so later on I confirmed I did have an out-of-body experience. But that was just the first on the fun ride, or the funhouse ride I was on. Now the real thing started happening about a month later, when I was, and I should back up a little bit. I should say that all through my childhood and adulthood, I had this obsession about World War II. So when I asked me why, I got nobody in the military.
Yeah.
But all it is, read about World War II, and then I developed a business, had money for toys. I started buying World War II weapons, specifically German. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. They're on my wall. You know, $20,000 of German weapons on the wall.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised my wife didn't kill me.
Yeah, really.
So, full-blown obsession. So one morning, about a month after I went out of body, I'm in my office, I'm meditating, and my head's moving around as usual. And all of a sudden I start shaking in a yes motion. And then it goes into a no motion, and then back to a yes motion. It's like someone's controlling my head. I go, are you saying yes and no? And then my head shakes yes.
Oh, wow.
And I go, can I ask questions? And my head shakes yes. And it's like moving on its own. And I was reading about reincarnation up to this point too. I said, was I a German soldier in World War II? My head shakes yes. And so I got a binary communication system going on where you just get yeses and nos. But if you play like Wheel of Fortune with this thing in my head, like a Ouija board, you can get information. I said, okay, what was my name? So I said, first letter, first name. I go, A, no, B, no, C. So I go through this laborious process.
Yeah.
The system spells out the name Otto Kosterman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, it gets better. I go, okay, when did I die? May 1st, 1944. Was I on the Russian front? Yes. Was I on the Southern front? No. Central? No. Northern front. I said, what was my regiment? 23rd. What was my division? 11th. What was my hometown? Mandolin. So by this time, I'm so excited about getting this information, I pop out of my altered state, go to my computer, which is right in front of me. So I Google Otto Kosterman. I don't get a hit on that. But I do Google, or I do some quick research. There was a 23rd Regiment. It did belong to the 11th Division. And the 23rd Regiment recruited in the Königsberg area in East Prussia. And Mandolin is a suburb of Königsberg. And so that's how I got, verification that what I was getting was real. And so eventually, as I keep pushing this, I find out that I said, well, how did I die? I said, shot? No. I said, artillery? No. I said, bayoneted? Yes. I said, oh, great. And so, yeah, ouch. So I start pulling out this information. And I go, well, is this my only life? No. And then I find out I'm Alfred Hindeman. Died in 1918. I go, uh-oh, that's World War I. Was I a German soldier then? Yes. So now I find out I died for the Germans twice in the 20th century.
Yeah.
Before that, I was Carl Hindeman, a dairy farmer who was also a real estate shyster. Got knifed and killed in a real estate swindle.
Was that what year?
Before that, in the late 1800s. I was actually Alfred's grandfather. So I was my grandson and grandfather.
That was probably your karmic debt in that life that you had to pay for getting bayonet stabbed.
Well, no, I didn't. No, I keep getting killed, and that's what the point is here.
Yeah,
I keep going.
You didn't learn your lesson yet.
You're right, and that was the whole point of my book and my spiritual journey is that I find 6 lives where I get brutally killed, and I asked the question, what did I do to tick off the universe?
Yeah,
so I had to find out.
You just didn't learn your lesson. Until you learn your lesson, you'll keep going through that.
So each life we have a lesson, right? Is that,
No, it's
well, we should.
Every life. I mean, we could have thousands of lives. Who knows? It's because we choose to come back as a different soul. But each time we come here, we're here to learn something.
Right.
Very true.
So,
Very true.
I mean, basically, what you're doing, Frank, is you're connecting to source. When you're doing this.
Yes.
So, what you're doing is, the human flesh bony part of us here is like just the tip of the iceberg of who we really are. So basically, you're connected to source. I mean, in meditating, that's the best way to do it. I mean, you chose to have that journey, so the universe gave you that journey. Somebody else could choose to go and talk to, their future selves. Because I mean, there is no time in the universe. We make up time.
You're exactly right. That's what I found out in this journey.
Yeah. Because I mean, you think about it. I mean, look how fast it's already July 1st. I mean, you don't even notice time when it's gone. So, I mean, life after life after life. That's why there really is no fear of dying, because you just can start again. I mean, you never get it all done.
Well, there is an end, but it takes a while.
Yeah, but there's not an end because we're endless source of energy. You know what I mean? So
right, exactly.
It's just in this lifetime, whatever we get done, we get done. That's why these people, they have these goals and everything. It's like, unfortunately for you, you needed to learn the stabbing lesson and get that out of your life.
Keeps getting killed.
You need to work on that one.
Absolutely. Well,
I have just a question. From the
Sure.
intro, I was looking up. What exactly is a low power psychic or medium? What do you mean low power?
well, that's just me being jealous.
Okay.
By the way you guys talk, do you guys have any psychic abilities?
Well, Jeff does. I'm sensitive. I can definitely sense spirit around me, or I can sense when something's with me. But yeah, he's a little more sensitive than I am.
It's more energy. I can sense different energies of it's like a man, woman, bad, good, and then sometimes they present themselves with me, but I'm not like some of these people that say, "Oh, your Aunt Ida's here."
Right,
I can't do it. I don't do that.
Yeah.
There you go, and that's what I consider a high power psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get visions, they can hear, they got the full HD 1080 ride. We have a psychic community in Columbus. We train together,
Yeah.
and so I see the abilities of my classmates and colleagues. So with me, I got this pendulum type of gift inside my mind where I could ask a question and get a yes or no answer. I'm not complaining. I mean, that's a wonderful gift.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
just not as good as getting full-blown visions and being able to hear. Though, if they really want to get a point across to me, they will give me a vision. But those are really few and far between.
Yeah, I'm kind of where you are, because I can get information, and if it's, every now and then I will get a vision of something.
Right.
I know we had a guy on 3 weeks ago, though, Rick Price, right?
Rick Hayes.
Rick Hayes.
Yeah,
He was amazing.
He was. Yeah.
Because I had some stuff at my house. I had 3 spirits there, which I knew, a man, a woman, and a kid. He said all that, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He said, like, you can just agree or you can say that. But at the end, he says to me, you got to fix that broken window. And I'm like freaked out because I was, right before I came over here to Mark's house, I was just out looking at a window that I had to fix. And I'm like, I got to fix that freaking window.
Yeah.
And then nobody knew that but me, And then
Yeah, he was pretty accurate. He was dead on.
for Mark, he went through the whole thing. Yeah, somebody fell down the stairs. Stuff that anybody could just say, and just kind of.
Yeah, he nailed it.
But then at the end, he goes to Mark, he goes, you have a skeleton key downstairs hanging on a door that doesn't go to anything.
Yeah, and I do.
And he does. And I've never seen this key myself.
Right,
And
I
then he
forgot
goes,
about
look, it's the key.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are 2 things right there that nobody would know about us, that he got us both with those,
It's pretty good.
So, I mean, I applaud people like that can really...
Far and few in between, really.
Yeah.
I know what you call them, high power.
Yeah,
They're
there's
very,
a lot of
very
psychics
accurate.
out there that think they are and they're not.
Well, you bring up an absolute great point. What you experienced was validation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's what I received in my journey, because I wouldn't believe anything until I got validations.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to get those. Absolutely.
It really is. So after you discovered reincarnation, Why did your attitude to the whole concept turn negative?
Well, it's just finding out, like, hey, I found out, hey, I'm immortal, I'm not going to die, my loved ones are not going to die, and then I find out that, go back to that Bill Murray movie, Groundhog Day. If I just, then it turns out that if every life I get brutally murdered, I say, wait a minute, this is no gift for Christmas.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, you're gonna change that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
you better be careful. Well, just change it.
Yeah, watch your back.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. But what I found out was, and I think Jeff mentioned it, that I had a karmic debt. And so in my past lives, I'm typically a soldier or a priest. And, it's okay to kill people on the battlefield, but you kill people off the battlefield who aren't supposed to go. Well, then, that's a karmic debt against you. And so in my journey, I eventually found that the spirits kind of stretch out the story. And so at the very end, I found out what life caused all my troubles. And it was this nobleman back in the 1600s who participated in the 30 Years' War in Germany, which was almost a genocidal war. All kinds of rape, killing. It was just, the armies there were just thugs and rapists. And I was singled out in the history books as being the worst of the worst. I was known as the thief. I stole so much money in that war that I actually bought my own castle, which still exists in Czechoslovakia. And my portrait hangs on the wall in the trophy room. So, but in that life, I killed 7 innocent people. And so that's why in these succeeding lives, or actually lives around it, that's why I got dispatched in the same way that my victims did, either shot or stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I wonder how you can always end up in Germany.
Well, I don't know. That's my choice. I guess I'm. That's the ones that most were revealed to me. So, and actually, the funny thing is, I can still speak German. I only took 3 years of German in junior high, but I'm 57. I still can speak some German. I just came back from overseas, and I just talked to some German guys. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of amazing.
It's kind of funny that you always ended back up as a German soldier. So that must have really worked that out of your system.
No. We were the best, and we still are. So, there's a certain pride there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just beat us in soccer.
Did they? Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Well, we did win.
I grew up in America. I don't really follow soccer much, but
A 0-0 game isn't exciting to me
yeah,
for some reason.
yeah. I understand that once you got into a heated two-way argument with a ghost. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, tell me, guys, in your travels, have you ever seen somebody get channeled, or a spirit get channeled through somebody?
Oh, yes. In this house right here, where it's funny. It's we got the house a while ago, but it started out. Long story short, the woman here got channeled right through her.
Yeah.
Up in the same studio up there.
Up in,
And also that one that I want to say demonic, or it was very negative, up in Gallows Hill in Salem.
yeah. Up in Guilford,
Yeah.
Debbie, that lady that was speaking in
Oh,
tongues.
yeah. So we've seen it a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've seen it. It's an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
and so in my psychic training, I had a big class. My trainer is Brenda Pisani, who's a good psychic in the Columbus area. And so one of the students was a management consultant by the name of Greg. And the story about Greg is that his mom had this Indian chief who she would channel. And it was just a growing up back to life for Greg. And so when his mom died, well, this Indian chief named Shem started channeling through Greg. And so Greg gave a demonstration. And so I thought this was a great opportunity to talk to a spirit, because I was just, starting my spiritual journey, and here you could get information right from the horse's mouth. And so my first encounter with Shem was great, because I'd asked him certain things about the other side and about death and life, and so it was really great. Well, the second time I had an opportunity to talk to Shem, things kind of turned different, where he started to get into my face about things, and he started talking about my psychic ability and how it wasn't, I wasn't doing it right. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Seriously? That's all it's given to me. I said, I'd love to have more. You know, I meditate. What do you want me to do? I said, that's all you guys give me. So he's on my case, and so it just starts building up, and eventually I go, look, I am sick. I said, listen, this is what I learned about all my deaths in past lives. And I'm going to tell you something, Shem, I said. He's a advanced spirit guy. I go, I'm not coming back here anymore. I had it with this, me being killed. And he goes, well, you don't make those decisions down here. It's only up there.
Oh, wow.
You got to get right. And well, it gets even, we still start jawing each other. And, hey, I was a warrior in my past life. And I didn't want, he's not showing me respect. So I thought I'd use a little Indian lingo on him to tell him to show me some respect. And I go, listen, Shem, I counted coup of my enemies. He goes, and what does that have to do for this life? So that was the end of my conversation with Shem. But I actually had an argument with a ghost.
Hey, Frank, what made you an atheist? Like, what were your beliefs when you were an atheist? Like, you just lay in the ground and that's it?
Didn't believe in God.
That's it? Yeah. It's just because...
Thought it was just a one-shot deal?
I'm sorry, Jeff?
You thought it was just a one-shot deal back then?
Yeah, it was a one-shot deal because, if you look at the basic, Christian teachings, there's just so many contradictions in it. It just did not make sense logically. And
It's true.
sort of like, I try to go by science, and it just wasn't lining up. And so it wasn't giving me the answers. And so I was looking for the better answer. And I didn't get it until late in life.
Yeah. Well, basically...
But everything lines up now.
Yeah, because energy never stops, I mean, energy is always moving. So...
Yes.
That's like I can't see how, even science says that,
What?
That energy never stops. You can't stop energy.
So, do you believe in heaven now?
Oh, well, absolutely. But you know something? What I learned is heaven's not a reward. Heaven is where we come from. It's a higher vibration. It's where we normally live as light beings. And we just come down here and we inhabit heavy bodies to experience life and to learn lessons.
Yeah.
So this is a training course down here.
Yeah.
But what trips you off is that you have amnesia about where you come from, which is designed that way, and also because human brains can't hold all that information.
Well, besides that, by the time you're 5 years old, you've been planted so many false beliefs that you don't believe that you can do what you can do anymore.
Well, I understand there's a lot of time it seems, well, not a lot, it seems like we don't really learn a lesson, or we don't remember it in the next life. And that's, do we absorb this? Do we actually learn from our previous lives?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Sure,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. And because that's part of my spiritual journey, too. It's like, here I am. I'm an American, never been hungry, never been cold,
Yeah.
had a cushy life, never been in any danger as far as being killed. But yet my background in past lives is all violence. 3 years on the Russian front, all kinds of wars. It's like, okay, why is there this dramatic difference between my past life and this one? And I want to find out why. So I went to a national psychic by the name of Stacey Wells, who specializes in pre-birth readings, telling you why you actually chose this life and how it connects to your past lives.
Oh, wow.
And it was fantastic. And she just nailed my life in each part as far as why I had troubles then and why I was experiencing specific problems. And then she nailed it as far as what the connections was. And I just lost my chain of thought, but it's addressing something that Jeff said. But it was about, that's right. But she told me about the lessons. There's actually a syllabus. There's 5 lessons that you can work on. And so she was telling me the ones that I was working on. Well, one of them, number one, was self-esteem for the soul. I was a killer of innocent people because I had a bad self-esteem as a very powerful man several times.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't control my anger. People would say something and tick me off, and I kept, you know, I could slice them in two.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's drastic. That'll boost your self-esteem.
Yeah. And so in this life, they set it up to where, I mean, my teens and 20s were absolutely miserable. People would go out of their way to put me down.
Yeah.
But yet, I stood up to it, and I never lost my belief in myself, and I never, well, of course, I'm a smaller guy, but I never killed anybody, and I kept my cool. So it was all part of the plan this time around.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's all what makes you who you are, you know? So.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, like I was saying, you know, I do numerology, and a lot of that, if you do, you know, somebody's number of their birth date and their name, it basically is them. It shows their karmic debt. It shows their karmic lessons, which are different. Karmic lessons are just things that you're here to learn. Karmic debt is something you've done in a past life that you need to work on. So, but it's amazing. You know, I have lessons to learn on number 2, which would be relationships, which I've been divorced twice, and you know, so I'm still working on that one. Number 1, being self-sufficient, all that, you know, because it's like I don't want anyone. I have a construction company. I don't want anyone to do anything that you know. I'm like, no, I'll do that because I can't trust you. You know.
You've always been that way.
Yeah. So that's basically it me. You know. Yeah. And those are lessons that I came to learn. You know, those are my karmic lessons, which are different from karmic debt. Which, you know, it sounds like finally you're over that because you're not a German soldier, and hopefully you won't get stabbed. So.
Or slice somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go slice.
Come a long way,
too,
baby.
Yeah. So, you know, it's basically, you know, and it's how people deal with it, too. It's like once you open up to realize all the false beliefs and things that people have told you, like school. I mean, school, basically, they're teaching you things that were taught 70 years ago. Your parents, if they didn't have enough money, you might not even be listening to conversation, but you catch it in the back of your ear. So that becomes your belief. There's not enough, you know, there's lack. Or, you know, relationship, everything, you know. Health, wealth, and relationships are the 3 areas that everybody can have a problem.
Very true.
So what is your most heartwarming or inspirational episode from your spiritual journey?
Well, what was great was, I mentioned I lost my dad.
Yeah.
And so, through my psychic trainer, I was able to reconnect with my dad and have conversations with him, which was great in itself.
Yeah.
So it's in my book, but near the end of my book, I decided that Father's Day, this was like 2 years ago, was coming up. And I go, well, wouldn't it be great? Well, I was thinking, you know, my kids and my nephew and niece, you know, don't have the benefit of my dad around. And, you know, because grandfathers are good for giving advice and such. And I go, well, wouldn't it be great to have a family group reading and where I could call my dad down and then have Brenda pass along, you know, advice and lessons from my father. And that's what we did. And it was just fantastic. You know, I connected to my dad, you know, made arrangements for him to come down, and then he visited with each one of his grandkids and gave advice. So to me, it was just a really heartwarming day.
Wow, that is great. Is that one of your what's an amazing episode from your spiritual journey with that?
Well, they're all amazing, but they're kind of amazing too. Is that my first love and girlfriend in this life was my girlfriend from my past life in Germany. And where I came from, East Prussia, had Germans and had Polish people kind of lived side by side before the Nazis came in. And so I fell in love with this Polish girl named Lana, and in my past life, and I went off to war. And so when I was at the front, the Nazis deported all the Polish people out of my area and they moved to Ukraine. And it turned out she got shot and killed through some unusual thing when she was in Ukraine. Well, in this life, I meet her again, and she's my first love, and I'm really into her. But the ironic, the cosmic irony here is that her parents, or she was Catholic, and her parents are Catholic, and after her parents found out that I wasn't Catholic, they eventually forbade me from coming into the house. And so eventually our relationship split up. Well, the ironic joke is that in my past lives, I was Mr. Catholic. I was an archbishop once. I was an abbot once. I was a cavalry commander for the Catholic forces in the 1600s. So I was Mr. Catholic, but in this life, I get persecuted for not being Catholic. But what was interesting is that I ran into through coincidences which happen, and they're coincidences are not coincidences. They're put in place to set in motion to make things happen. So, make a long story short, I was able to reconnect with this girlfriend. She lives in Kansas. She's married, has a family. But I was writing the book, and I have her in it. And so I got her phone number at work, and I tried calling her, and I could never get her on a line. I just got voicemail. I didn't want to leave a voicemail message. So I tried for a couple days. I gave up. I was too busy. Then I'm driving down the road one day, and I hear and her name was Michelle. And so I hear the Beatles start playing on the song Michelle.
Yeah.
On the cell radio. And so I heard it and just didn't pay attention. But the next song was Miracles by the Jefferson Starship. That was our song. And I go, oh, I said, you're trying to get my attention, are you? And my head shakes, yes. I said, is it time to call Michelle? Yes. Okay. So after I got home, I went to my desk and I picked the phone and I called her. She picked up on the first ring. And so, we talked and we kind of reminisced. And so I told her about the songs and she's laughing. And so she told me, she goes, there's a song that I remember you by. So every time it plays, that I just laugh. And that was Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel. Because remember, Virginia, Don't Let Me Wait, Catholic Girls Start Much Too Late.
Yeah.
So we kind of laughed about that, and I hung up. Well, the next day, I'm taking my kids to school, and I put them in the van and I open the garage door. So you take a satellite radio until you pull out of my garage to get the signal. And so the second I pull out of the garage, what's playing? Billy Joel song.
Yeah.
Good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. And so it's amazing how the other side can manipulate radio, because I knew they were behind all that. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Cool.
That's funny because I do that a lot too. Like I have certain songs and you don't hear them anywhere, and then all of a sudden they just pop up.
Sometimes I'll think of a song and it comes on.
Yeah,
I thought it was coincidence.
it happens.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how do you explain to me, or try to explain, how do you know what you were in your past lives? I mean, how do you trace that? How do you know, person number 12 or so? How do you know who you were?
Well, it's all like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And they all come from different sources. Some come from me. I'll get a name or a fragment, and then I'll go to Brenda, or I'll go to other people in my psychic class, and I'll get information from that. Or another time I went to hypnoregression, where I got information about my immediate prior life on the Russian front.
Yeah.
Where I got more information, how I died, the circumstances, how I died, and some other things. But they're all like puzzle pieces, like a mosaic. Like every one of those pieces fit together. And so it's kind of like being a detective. And I pulled it all together. And I'll give you an example. The spirits kind of like this, you just kind of ease me along. They don't give me everything at once. So as I'm playing detective, they gave me, I'm in search of this bad life. I actually had a couple bad lives, but this was the baddest of the bad. And I said, okay, who was I? Well, they only gave me, my name was Nicholas. I was a baron. I was a cavalry commander. I was fought in the 30 Years' War. That's all they give me. And I begged for a little bit more, and they go, all right. And I said, okay, what's my last name? And so they gave me a name of Puttlins, Puttlins. So I go Google Nicholas Puttlins. Nothing.
Yeah.
I look in the books. Nothing. So I just know, after playing this game for a while, I know that they're yanking my chain.
Yeah,
They're not giving me enough.
Right.
Yeah. But they're giving me just enough. So months go by. I'm not making any progress, but I'm just kind of just taking my time. Until I get a dream where they told me that it was time to finish this off. And it was a funny dream. My wife was building a store, and she was looking at the construction guys. So in this dream, I'm meeting with this construction guy, and this construction guy is complaining that the ghosts are making him be behind the construction schedule because they're digging up holes in the cement floor.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's weird, but so I go in the store, it's a big hole in the floor. Oh, man. I go, all right, let me go talk to them. And so the ghosts are in a warehouse that's nearby. So I go with a group of people in this warehouse and go up the stairs. And all of a sudden the ghosts start shouting through the rafters, to be a member, you have to remember. To be a member, you have to remember. All the people around me are getting scared as hell. They're all like ducking. But I start going, you're right. You're right. To be a member, you have to remember. So I'm kind of chanting back with them. I woke up and I'm laughing, and I go to the source. I go, was that a message dream? Yeah. Yes, I got. I go, okay, is it time to give me the rest of the information? Yes. So I go into these books that I purchased about the 30 Years' War, and there's a bibliography. I go, so I talk to the source. I go, look, I need to find my regiment. Is it in any of these books listed in the autobiography? And I got the answer, yes. Well, there's 19 books listed in this one stack of this one book. And so I'm going through all this. This one, no, yes. Well, there's a book written in 1901 in Austria that had a list of all the regiments. Where the heck am I going to get a book? It's out of print. I can't get my hands on this.
Right.
But I Google it, and miracle upon miracles, Google, as part of its effort to keep Western books, had digitized it and made it available in the library.
Wow.
And so I was actually able to download that book. Now it's in German, but that's okay. I could translate it.
Yeah.
And so I searched for Puttlins, the original name they gave me, and it took me to a page. And on the page is a list of each page had two cavalry regiments and the details about the regiments. And so Puttlins was a commander of a command, but it wasn't Nicholas Puttlins. It was another name. That wasn't me. I go, that's significant, but I'm missing something. And then I looked down the page onto the second regiment, and there was my name, Nicholas. Remember Nicholas?
Yeah.
DeFors. I found my name, Nicholas DeFors. Is that me? Yes. And so I had my name, and then I was able to go into German Wikipedia and look up Nicholas DeFors, and then boom, I had all the information. And so,
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was really cool. And
So
then I was able to find
your commanding officer?
Oh yeah, I was a baron, and later I was a count.
Yeah.
And I became very high up in the Holy Roman Empire. I was the chamberlain to the emperor in my later life.
No, what did Puttlins have to do with it, though? Like, why did they mention him, your spirits?
Well, because he was the guy who killed 7 innocent people.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And then to round out the book, I go, okay, who were the 7 people? What did I do? And then I found out what I did and who these people were. I mean, one was, I was a big guy, like 6'3", built like a linebacker, excellent swordsman. I mean, you didn't mess with me. I had to be the most dangerous man in Europe. So I'm in Nuremberg, we're occupying the town, and I see this woman walking down the street, and I liked her. And so I followed her home, and I invaded her home, and her husband was there, and he tried to defend her. I ran him through with my sword, and then had my way with his wife.
Jeez.
So that was victim number one.
You were bad.
And then, yeah, well then it gets better or worse, because the guy I killed, his brother was a newspaper editor in Nuremberg, and so he started putting out media about, complaining about me. Well, I didn't like that. So I sent my boys over to take care of him, and my boys did. So that's victim number two. And then just to assert my alpha male dominance over the town, I also had my way with his wife, who was a sister of my first victim. So, yeah, I was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't mess with me, guys.
What about the other victims?
Badass.
How would they come in?
Well, I mean, the other victims were, in this life I lose stuff. In that life I lose stuff too. I mentioned I looted so much stuff, or stole so much stuff. I had bags of gold laying around, and so I hid some, and I couldn't find it. So I thought one of my servants stole it, and I accused him of doing it. And I said, okay, where is it? And he said, no, I didn't steal it. He's begging me. So I took my pistol out. He better tell me. And he couldn't tell me, because I'm the one who lost the dang bag of gold. So I shot him in the head.
I thought you were going to slice and dice, so you shot him. Wow.
Well, slice and dice. I mean, that was my last victim after the war.
Oh my.
My daughter was 14, and I engaged her to another man, and then I get a better offer from somebody else, and so I broke off the engagement. Well, this guy's kicked, and he's running off his mouth about me. So one of us challenged each other to a duel. Well, even though I'm older, like I said, I'm an excellent swordsman. He's a younger guy. He didn't stand a chance against me. So I stuck him. Another incident was, cavalry. You go through a lot of horses, and so this horse breeder I buy horses from, but eventually I didn't want to buy from him anymore. I just wanted them.
Yeah.
I shot him by a river and stole his horses. I mean, this is bad stuff. This is bad stuff. So this is why I get punished in other life.
Yeah. I can see why now. Yeah, boy, you were not nice.
Well, the universe is all balanced too. So what you did then, you had to pay for. I think you're all paid up now, though. No.
No, I'm not. I got one to go.
Oh, do you? No.
I got one to go. Yeah.
Maybe they'll let you skip a life and you'll get to live this one. Okay.
My dad told me that the good works in this life is allowing me to pay off the last one.
Yeah.
So he says.
There you go. I agree with him.
Well, good. I thank you for your support.
Yes.
I found the light. I'm now recanted and gone into the light. So
Now,
hopefully I'll be.
Your parents growing up, what were they? Were they Christian? Were they Catholic? Or
My mom grew up Catholic, but she left the church, and
Yeah.
My dad wasn't strong. So I just grew up in a non-religious household.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Well, the church isn't what it's supposed to be. What Jesus
No.
and all them wanted
Well,
it to be.
the
you
Catholic,
know?
yeah, they seem to write their own book.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
basically,
seem to,
yeah.
they interpret things the way they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when God says, follow me, he meant to be like him, not follow him, I mean, and it's like, that the church changes everything to make it, basically to pad their pockets.
Well, yeah, I remember, speaking of that, right, probably not a great example, but, I married young, and then I divorced, right, and I wanted to get married again. The Catholic Church wouldn't recognize that, but they did say if I gave them a $1,000 donation, they would marry me. And right then, that's what turned me off. Are you kidding me?
That was that story.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, second marriage.
We'll
it was
wash
ridiculous.
it all away,
For a $1,000 donation, we'll allow you to get married in the church. It was just ridiculous.
Oh,
At that point, it's like, what, are you kidding me?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
Well, guys, I cannot condemn that, because in my life as in the 13th century as Archbishop, I was notorious for accepting bribes for that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So-
God, really?
Yeah.
So I can't condemn that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, each religion, I mean, is basically, you know, they've got their ups and downs, but, you know, it's all in how you interpret it.
It is. It is. I mean, as long as you have your own relationship with God.
Yeah.
Jeff, you believe in God, right?
I definitely believe in God, the universe. I believe in
Yeah.
a higher power. I believe in, you know...
Just don't believe in the captains.
I believe that thoughts become things. I believe that what you put out there is what you get back, good or bad. You know? I don't know if that has anything to do with me saying the Our Father sitting on a wooden bench, though. You know?
Well, that's a prayer that's in the Bible too. You sound like you have the Wiccan view, the Wiccan outlook, or the you know, I mean, you more the earth and sky and.
Well, I mean, there is a higher power for sure. You know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's all connected. But that's just my view.
That's your view. Frank, what's one of your funniest episodes from your spiritual journey?
Oh, you guys will like this one. This is my naked Jennifer Aniston story.
Nice.
Oh, I was just watching.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, yeah, just before I came on, I was watching a rerun of Friends. Wow, she's a pretty good-looking girl.
Yeah, she is.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm listening.
Absolutely. So, I mentioned my wife was creating this art studio, this store, and so we were creating a website for it. So I was at the office of the website developer, and he's a older guy, but a funny guy, and so I was just in his office. I forget, got done doing our business, so I was just BSing with him. And he was telling me that he was a recovering alcoholic, and he started telling me some stories, and I don't have too much information, but we started talking about his 12-step program, and so I was just curious. I said, well, Ken, I said, do you meditate at all? He goes, yeah, I do. And so anytime anybody says they meditate, I always ask them, you know, where they get out of it, looking for their experiences. I go, well, Ken, I said, do you see anything when you meditate? Do you hear anything? Because I know what you're getting at, he goes. But I don't get that kind of stuff. But what I get is that I ask for things and I get them. I go, really? He says, yeah. He goes, for example, in this business, you know, sometimes cash flow is a problem. My wife gets all freaked out about it. But whenever there's a cash flow problem, I just meditate and ask for checks. And next day, if son of a gun, checks don't appear in the mail. And I go, wow, Ken, that's great. That's called manifesting. He goes, yep, I'm pretty good at it. So I'm just teasing him. I go, well, Ken, you are pretty good at it. I said, but I'll bet you can't make a naked Jennifer Aniston coming through that door. And he looks at me with a smile. And he reaches in, he pulls open his desk drawer, and he pulls out a stack of envelopes. And the very first envelope he picked up was a card. He opened up the envelope, took out the card. That was a picture of a naked Jennifer Aniston.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, and I go, oh, I take that back, Ken. You are the best.
Yeah, that's funny too. It's the top one.
Thought he's gonna
Absolutely.
pulled out a blow-up doll with Jennifer Aniston's face on it. I thought it was
Yeah, that's pretty quick though.
wow, that's pretty good. What was the scariest episode from your spiritual journey?
Oh man, that was seeing my dad in the garage 3 months after he died. That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, that would be startling.
Oh, that's right. You guys see it all the time, though, don't you?
Well, no, I mean, we don't see them. I mean, most spirit, we don't see them. Once in a while, we'll see them.
Most of the time we're
Over the thermal
sitting
camera
around
or
eating donuts waiting for something to happen.
yeah, I mean, we get a lot of audio. Mostly, like, we get a lot of hits with our SB7 spirit box, or you know, ghost box, people call it, or thermal camera sometimes.
A lot of
Yeah,
shadows.
that's true.
Yeah, shadows.
Yeah, because it's true, because it takes a lot of energy to project a face, so you're right. But what I was doing was that 3 or 4 months after my dad died, I was taking my kids out to the van so I could take them to daycare. And I took my son Brian first, and I was just putting him down in the seat, and I was buckling him up. Well, I was looking at his face, and all of a sudden my dad's face appears over it.
Oh, wow.
And it was silver, you know, it was like a silver face.
Yeah.
But it was just with my dad. And I go, and I startled. I go, oh my God. And I literally went, where's back? It was just there for half a second, but it was there. And I'm thinking I must be seeing things. And this is way before me meditating and getting involved in this stuff. And so I went back inside and told my wife what I saw. She goes, oh, that's weird. But she remembers that. And so I just thought it was hallucination until the first time I had a session with my psychic trader, Brenda, when I wanted to reconnect my dad. And that's when I found out that I asked him, I said, was that you in the garage? He goes, yeah, that was me. And then Brenda saw the whole scene in the garage because that was in the garage, right in the van. I go, yeah. So that confirmed it. So, but boy, when it happens to you, you're not ready for it. That scared me.
Yeah, from what I've experienced in the past, sometimes it seems like spirit don't sometimes, especially a spirit, a loving spirit or a relative, past relative, they don't show themselves because they're afraid that they're going to scare somebody, and or it takes a lot of energy to do so.
What they'll do is they'll do whatever you would be comfortable with.
Yeah,
You're obviously you're comfortable with seeing it, so that's why he showed himself to you. But if someone else, if they did that, it'd freak them out, and they'll do whatever's comfortable. Like, say that you had a special bell on the mantle that was connected between you two. They'll ring it, they'll do something like that.
right.
But, a lot of people, even to see if you want to see like an angel or something, if you're not ready to see it, it won't show itself, it'll do like a sparkling light or something instead. So you must be comfortable with seeing spirit.
Well, I think too, they know there's no time over there, so they knew that I was going to write a book, and so I think they also did that to give me some material for the book too.
Yeah, there you go.
'Cause I think that's what Shem was doing for me too. I think that's why he got in my face and started that argument to give me some material. So that's all good on that side.
That's pretty good. Here's a chapter for you.
So how many lives have you gone back?
I was told I lived 99 so far.
Yeah.
But they only gave me the ones that kind of have a lesson for this life. And so recently, another life was revealed to me. Not too many details,
Yeah.
but it wraps around the story of my new book. And so what I learned was that, once again, I was in the military, and I was a general, a Union general in the Civil War, a brigadier general, a young one.
Yeah.
And I survived the war and eventually go west to Arizona to become a rancher out there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's notable about that was that there was a woman downtown, or the nearest town. They had a brothel. She was a madam, and I had a decades-long affair with her. And it turns out that that woman was my soulmate, who appears again in this life, who I had a 3-year affair with. And that was a girl that I should have married, but things got in the way, planned that way. But now we are reconnecting. It's an interesting story. In our absence from each other, we both married other people and started families, but then we both became psychic about the same time. And then we reconnected. And the spirits are telling us, okay, well, you guys need to merge your families. Well, hey, we're married. How are we going to do that?
Oh, so you guys are both still married to other people?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm now separated. I moved out. But her marriage is, and she's, I think she's in the process issue of being her marriage too. But because of our closeness, because we are soulmates, and not from, not the misused romantic soulmates nature or use, but where we were sort of born as souls in the same group at the same time, having the same frequency.
Yeah.
That, we've had many lives together. And actually, my dad is also my soulmate, because he also knows her. Because he'll go to her and talk to her. And he told me that we spent 12 lives together, this girl and I. And so the new book, which should be out later this year, is called Frank and Lorraine, a psychic love story. So it tells a story about how we first got together and how we parted, and then how the spirits brought us together again, and how we could read each other's minds and connect to each other. And there's all kinds of hijinks going on too that spirits get involved with. So It's got a lot of drama in it, and it's actually kind of funny, too. My current wife doesn't think it's funny, but...
Yeah. Got a ha-ha moment for her.
No. All right, Frank, we're just about ready. We're going to take a short break, people. So we will be back just in a couple of minutes with Frank Maris. Don't go away. Go do whatever you can do. Come right back in about 2 minutes. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
All right, I'll grab a little drink then. Be right back.
Okay.
Okay, yep. Catch up in 2 minutes, Frank. welcome back to Everything Paranormal. He's Jeff, and I'm Mark. I tricked you, Jeff, huh? How are y'all doing? You having a great night so far? Talking to Frank Maris, and Frank is from Ohio. And Frank is Ohio. What's high in the middle and round on both ends? Ohio. Very good, Jeff. Very good. That's
Spell level backwards.
That's from Salem. Still has spell level backwards. You made me think, okay, hey, it's the same. So Frank, what's going on? How are you, bud?
I'm doing good. Hey, I'm having fun, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
very interesting.
Back to the soulmates. I was just taking a pee and I thought of a...
Oh, come on. No, I had to put it that way.
wonderful thing.
Good help.
Hey,
Can't get good help.
all right, now, do you think that people have more than one soulmate?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, typically they say that, you know, you're up to 20, 30, you can have up to a class of 20 or 30 soulmates. Mine, I understand, is only 6. And what's kind of interesting is that the soul groups have like themes, if you will. And my group's theme, this is what my dad told me, is that we go to the extremes as far as our lives, our lives. And so that kind of explains why I was a German soldier, in the Russian hell in one life. And the next life, I'm in a wonder-bred American suburban life, with no violence and no blood. So we took it to the extreme. Or like my soulmate, Lorraine. She's a brothel owner, good time girl, loves that life of independence, having fun, not tied down by family or kids. And in this life, she's a mom with 2 girls, and she has a hard time with it because in her soul she's used to, that life of the past. So once again, she went to the extremes. So that's what my group is, but every group has its own thing. But that's how we roll.
Now, do you have a hard time with your life right now? Like, do you seek more adventure or something?
You don't want to go out and kill somebody, right?
No, not kill someone. Just the thrill.
Well, actually, I am armed to the teeth.
Oh, jeez.
I've got 2 assault rifles. I have 2 submachine guns. I've got a street sweeper shotgun, this gun 16. So I'm expecting trouble in the next couple of years, and so I don't want to have any trouble. But if somebody is going to try to take my stuff in the upcoming bad times, they're going to have a hard time with me. But I'm not. Yeah. So once again, that stuff's ingrained in you.
Wow.
You're like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. That's right.
That's interesting. He's interested in weapons and things like that. It's amazing how it just carries on.
Well, I mean, plus you get $50,000 of memorabilia on your wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Well, those are the dead weapons. The live ones are in the safe.
Now, what did you used to do, like, for a job?
Still do. I was in banking and investments for a number of years until I was very fortunate 20 years ago to start a business with my wife that took off, and we pulled down Medicaid money for school districts, and so that's doesn't sound like much, but it's a lucrative business, and I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, but then I have people who work for me who are good managers, so I will maybe work half the time on my business, and then I write, and so life's good.
Yeah, but that's a total extreme from your past lives, though.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
Like you said.
Unless, like I said, unless the crap hits the fan in the next couple of years, well, then I go right back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're prepared. It's like he's well trained for it. So
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
If
The
the zombie apocalypse hits, we'll be hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I would call it a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's what's going to happen. And like I said, I come from the investment world, so I know things that most people don't, and that our economy is just a house of cards right now with our extreme debt.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just, the Federal Reserve is doing unnatural things to the bond market to force interest rates down. So the bond market's like Mother Nature. You can't hold it back forever. And when that thing breaks, the government is going to literally be out of money because they won't be able to borrow money anymore or print money anymore.
Oh, we're close
what
now.
happens? Well, my point is that what happens to all those 40%? What happens to the 40% of the people who are on food stamps and entitlements, and they don't have any more support anymore? That's when things are going to get really dicey in society. So, and that's what our vision's about.
Isn't that crazy? The strongest country in the world, and we have so many people that are in such dire
It's a
straits.
mess.
You
It's
know?
part of the job. I know. I mean, it's crazy.
But we spend money to go on these wars, and and there's so many vacant houses around here that I mean, everybody in America could have an apartment or a house, and it's just like, we're so worried about what other people are doing.
Well, they do that in other countries, don't they? Where actually have a home, or you have a place where you have health insurance?
Yeah,
Right.
I saw it. I saw an article on that. What is it, Holland or something, where they pay
Yeah, I
people
think
to
it
go to
is.
school.
Wow, imagine
Everybody
that.
has
Right.
health insurance. They just have higher property taxes.
Right.
So what's the difference if you're paying that, but you have a house, you have education, you have, you know, and it's. You know.
Well, now we go from the supernatural to the politics and economics. So.
Yeah, so let's get away from the politics, go back to the supernatural. So tell us,
Right, more fun.
why are more people remembering past lives lately? You hear it more and more now.
Well, it goes back to what I'm saying. I don't know, among the psychic community, they talk about a change that's coming to the world in, let's see, 8, 9, 10 years. I'm sorry?
Want to hear my theory on that?
Sure, go ahead.
My theory is 2012, when the Mayans said that the calendar was going to end, that's when the old world ended. 2013 was when everyone was confused and angry, not knowing what they should be doing, what team they should be on. 2014 is the year where people are going to start choosing the route that they're going to take, because it's becoming more of a spiritual world now instead of all the trouble and everything. That's why these earthquakes, the earth is shaking up and it's getting ready for it. That's my
There you go.
So what do you think,
You're
Frank?
right on. You're right on. And that goes back to that change. And I think people are a lot more spiritual now. That's part of the process, is that their vibrations are being raised.
Yeah.
Because what Stacey Wells told me is that people, like you said, Jeff, there's no time in heaven.
Yeah.
You can go to any part of human history you want to live a life.
Oh, yeah.
But if you come to this time period, you're coming here because you have unfinished business.
Yep.
So there's something big going down in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so
We're just working towards
What do
that.
you think? What do you guys think it is? What's
It's going to be a spiritual. It's going to be a big change. You know, look at the
end of the earth?
Yeah. No, just people in general. It's
right?
because everybody puts out a thought. You know, they all put out their own thoughts. The more
Right.
people that start putting out spiritual, positive thoughts,
Well,
that's
it'd
going
be
to
a good
change
thing,
the
right?
world. I mean, if
Wow.
you could tip that 51%, it would change the world. You know, so.
that's true. Yeah.
But in 2013, there was a lot of people pissed off and confused, you know? I mean, a lot of people, they just didn't know which way to go. So sooner or later, we're all going to be dragged into this. And those that are already into it are going to be the leaders and the teachers.
Yep. And a lot of people are going to be leaving too. They're going back to that higher vibrational place called heaven.
Yeah,
Most-
because you know, it's
Yeah.
just,
There's,
go ahead.
yeah, that's what as many. I mean, they're reducing the population. They're just changing a lot of stuff. They're changing the school down here to something more peaceful. So,
Yeah.
but part of it is the start of it though is the economic collapses and the trauma from that. So it's the fun house of events that's coming down the pike.
Oh, yeah.
Hence me having all the weapons.
Yeah, you're all prepared.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be your
Yeah,
time, like the soldier, to start taking people out.
Oh, I'm not taking people out. Listen, I've learned. I don't want any more atomic dead on me.
No.
Only if they attack me.
Yeah, self-defense only. He's had his share, Jeff.
That's right.
Any more
I'm
trouble?
spiritual.
Be like Daryl in Walking Dead.
A Walking Dead. Oh boy.
A few more months for that.
Yeah. Frank, what's the greatest satisfaction you receive from writing your books?
Well, it's I have a Facebook account, and so I advertise a little bit on Facebook, and so what's gratifying to me is that people write me who don't have the support that I do. That they're all alone out there. They have past life memories. They don't know how to deal with them. People think they're crazy, and so I'm able to validate them and to tell them that it's okay. And so they're really grateful for that. And so I get a lot of satisfaction out of even help other people. Or when they read my book, so many people, I get abused for my book. I'm a charlatan. I'm trying to make money off of people.
Yeah.
Which is not true. I lose money on this book. Okay, I can afford it, no big deal. It's part of my spiritual efforts here.
Yeah.
But the people who read it, who are ready to read it and resonate with it, it really helps them. And so that's gratifying.
Yeah, those who aren't ready for it, then, don't worry about them. But then it's like the more famous you get and the more your name gets known, there's going to be more people that bash. I mean, the number one person who got the most hate mail was Mother Teresa.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I mean, how could you hate Teresa?
Right.
But what did she do? She freaking didn't even get paid, I don't think, did she?
Well, I'm sure she got paid something, but
Yeah. But to sleep in a
She was
stable every now and then.
she's like saint-like. People like that. I guess the more successful you are, the more jealous people become.
You know what's good too, Frank, is I bet you as time goes on, you've got endless supply of material because your spirits can keep showing you other lives that you can write about, other lives and other lives. If you get 99, I think you're all set.
Well, I think I think it's a matter of been there, done that now with the spirit, with the reincarnation.
Oh, yeah?
And the next move that I'm making, and I actually mentioned it in the last part of my my first book, is that I wanted to learn how to do out of body on demand.
Yeah,
Right.
And so out of body, as opposed to being a psychic, and we're dealing with the same same spirit world. It's just that if you're psychic, you're having the spirits come to you to give you a message. When you go out of body, you're going to the spirit world. You're going back to heaven. And so to me, that's the next level up. And so that's what I'm trying to achieve.
That'd be awesome.
And this is easy. What's that?
That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, it's not easy. And I actually went to the Monroe Institute last August to get training, which was a fantastic experience. But I wasn't successful, and I wasn't successful because the people on the other side control my lives here, or kind of directing my life, actually my higher self, if you will, doesn't allow me to go out of body yet because I've got to get this second book done. They don't want me traipsing through heaven and having a good time over there, and not attend to my work down here. So I got some other things to do before they'll let me do that. Well, it's closed.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about your out-of-body training at the Monroe Institute in Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, there's an application that I learned there that applies to your ghost hunting efforts. So, so Bill Buhlman is a writer. If you guys know Bob Monroe, he was the first out-of-body pioneer. He wrote 3 famous books, and he started the Monroe Institute down in Charlottesville, Virginia. And after Bob died, Bill Buhlman has been doing this for 40 years. He's not a disciple of Bob Monroe, but he's a great guy. He's also written his own books. Bill used to be a sales manager, I think, for Xerox or some company like that.
Yeah.
But when he went through college, he started experimenting with out-of-body techniques, and he was successful. And so he has 40 years of experience going to the other side. And the tales he tells are just fantastic. And he's got some wonderful books, too. So I went to a seminar at the Bob Monroe Institute, and there's all kinds of techniques to induce it, but it takes a lot of training and a lot of work and about 6 months of constant effort to be able to do that. It's not so much on demand, but it's kind of like what Bill actually teaches is not so much, well, he teaches you how to get out of body, but more importantly, what to do when you get out of body.
Yeah,
because it's a matter of consciousness control and managing energy. Because once you get out, you have to kind of pull more of your conscious energy into where you're at, because it's split. And so if you're going to the ethereal dimension or back to heaven, if you will, for lack of a better word, you gotta constantly use a technique to keep your conscious energy so you don't fall asleep and go back in your body. And then you have to know how to handle and interact with the spirits on the other side.
Yeah.
Because describes them as being very emotional. And what's kind of interesting is not all souls come to Earth. Only the brave ones come to Earth because it's so tough down here. And Bill tells a lot of stories about him encountering spirits on the side, and they go, "Oh, you're from there?" And I kind of go, "You're from there? Here's a maze."
So when you say emotional, good and bad emotions?
Just, and actually that's the whole point of this reincarnation process. And this is what Bill teaches, is that as souls, we are chips off of God, so we are parts of God.
Yeah.
And God can manifest and create its own reality, and we can too. And a good example of that is that we do that every night, because our consciousness transfers over to our subconscious in heaven, and we produce dreams. But those dreams are actually manifestations of, we're creating our own reality, if you will, in those dreams, as crazy as it is. And lately, not only can you see and hear in dreams, but I've been lately starting to get the ability to actually touch in dreams, which is kind of wild.
That's cool.
So what does that tell you? If you can touch things down here, and you can touch things in your dreams, then it's just like there's just different dimensions we go to, and this is just a heavy dimension.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of places we can go, and we do go. And so you mentioned on the other side. Now, okay, so the thing is that if we share a reality with other souls, and Bill talks about that. I think Jeff mentioned the other religions that people have. So let's say that you are a real super duper Catholic down here, and you just walk the straight and narrow as far as Catholicism.
Yeah.
Well, when you die, where do you think you go? You create your own heaven. So you are going, in a sense, it's not titled that way, but you are going to a reality, a consensus reality that is Catholic. And you go where other souls think Catholicism. And you go to a nice house up there, but you go to Mass every day, and boom, that's the Catholic reality.
So everything.
There's also Muslim reality.
Everything you vision as a Catholic, like, we go to heaven where we meet our love, it's like you created that reality, so that's where you would go.
I'll be hanging out with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it depends. If you're a more advanced soul and you know that there's more than Catholicism, well, then you go to another reality. But the funny thing is that what Bill learned is that if you are at a higher level and you understand that there's more than a certain belief, you're not allowed in those realities because you'll disturb them. And that's the whole point of reincarnation, is because as you go through lives and you become a better soul, you learn to control yourself. And they can trust you then in higher levels of heaven where you have more powers to create your reality. You want to make sure that you're not stepping on other people's toes.
Yeah.
And so if you're not an advanced soul, you get stuck in those consensus realities, whether it's Muslim or whatever it is. And so Bill has an interesting story about one time when he did visit a consensus reality, and the people got really upset with him because he walked. It's in one of his books. It's a great. By the way, his name is Bill Juhlman, Buhlman, and he's telling his story. It's a great book, and he's telling a story about when he goes out of body, and for some reason they send him to this consensus reality. I think it was a fundamentalist Christian reality, or I mean Catholic, I forget which one. And he's in this town. It's a nice town. In heaven, and with white picket fences, and there's a church in the middle of the square. It must be Sunday. You're singing from the church. He walks in the church, and the pastor looks up and sees him, and the pastor says, "You don't belong here." And Bill goes, "What? Why?" And other people are looking at it, and they're just like, "No," they're screaming at him, "You don't belong here. Go, devil, go." Wow. So Bill starts levitating off the floor of this church. And that really freaked out the people, so I think that's That's why they let us, our kind of people, in those realities.
Yeah.
But eventually, over time, people catch on after eon that there's more to it, and eventually those souls leave those consensus realities, but it takes a long time. But it gives a reason for reincarnation, so that you get the ticket to the higher levels of heaven. So there's a purpose to it.
So would you say that there's like other us in different worlds?
Not other us's, but there's our prior personalities out there, because two of them came to visit me when I was in a psychic reading with Brenda. Nicholas came to visit, and with him came Conrad from Hookstudden, the other bad character I have in my past, who was a power-mad archbishop, a politician and archbishop, and who had his own army, too. Both those gentlemen came to see me in this reading. Kind of scared Brenda, too. First time I ever seen Brenda scared, because Nicholas, he just came out of the battle. He had blood in his beard, and he was kind of breathing hard, but, but he's my brother, so, but yeah, so that you could, your past and future selves can visit you.
So, like, if we could go to see our future selves, and if we're going through a problem right now, and say, "Oh, this is how I think. This is how I handled it."
The future self, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do that.
Well, it's not so much future self, it's your succeeding personalities. So it's not the future Jeff, it's just the life that came after Jeff.
Yeah.
So you're sort of on your own in this life. You got to figure out your own problems and figure your own solutions out.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah. It's a daily battle.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Frank, I understand that you visited your own tomb last summer. Tell us about it.
Well, that was really cool. I mentioned Conrad von Hochstaden. He is the guy who founded the famous Cologne Cathedral in Cologne, Germany. It's a famous cathedral. So he laid the the foundation stone in like 1248, and he was the guy who collected the money for it. And so, because of his fine efforts, he was actually buried there, or had his tomb there, and the mosaics there. And so I always wanted to visit my own tomb. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And so we had a family vacation to Europe last year, and so we went to London and Paris, and I made sure that we also stopped by Cologne so I could go see myself. And that was quite the experience, to gaze upon, how do you say it, sarcophagus, so I had a bronze statue that's laying horizontal, so I could look upon my face, and I could look upon my face in a mosaic on the floor. In fact, on my website has, in my blog post, has pictures of me by my tomb and by the mosaic. And I actually left a white rose by my tomb. So I thought, well, if I go there, will I feel any energy or get flashes of past life vision? That didn't happen, either because I'm a low-power psychic or because my body's no longer there. During the late 1700s, French troops retreated out of Cologne, and in the process of their retreat, they trashed all the tombs inside the church, looking for jewelry and that kind of stuff. For my bones were thrown out the street. So it's all that's left is the statue. So there's nothing physical left of that body left. But it was pretty cool. Just kind of gazing at yourself.
You pick another French for it, Jeff. You're French.
No,
Yeah. Couldn't get much French for that. Did you have any interesting visions while you were visiting your tomb?
Well, actually, it was in the hotel. I spoke at a hypnoregression event a couple months before, and the leader of that group, or the hypnotist, gave me one of his tapes, and so I was in my hotel in Cologne, and I listened to that tape, and I was actually able to get visions. So I was actually get visions of my two horses.
Yeah.
I was able to get visions of a fortified wall that one of my soldiers was working on. And I was able to see the barracks, wooden barracks that my soldiers lived in. So, yeah, so I got a few visions, but it came out of the hypno regression MP3 that I got. But being close by, I think, encouraged it. So that was good.
Did it feel familiar when you went there, back there?
But you know, it's kind of interesting. I had a big smile on my face once we got out of the train station. And
Yeah.
the train station is right next to the cathedral, and so I kind of almost ran out the doors to look at the cathedral. And I had a big grin on my face. So I think there's a connection there, but that's my cathedral.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting is that I went to, you know, we were there for a couple of days, and I took my daughter down in the museum in the lower part of the cathedral, and that's where all the treasures were, and the staffs, the golden staffs the bishops used. And so I found the staff that I used back in the 1200s, and all the warnings on the wall says don't take any photographs, right?
Yeah.
But damn it, I took a photograph because that's my staff.
Yeah. Yours. Why won't they let you take photographs of it?
Well, I don't know, they're afraid of maybe, you know, light damaging it or stuff, or maybe that you have a copyright on this material.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, but like I said, they have a copyright, but that's my staff, so I felt I had every right to do it.
Your past energy is there. I wonder if he came and he's like, hey, this is, because it's your past energy is all over that place. The guy was in and out of that place. He's raising money for it. He was there all the time.
That's right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. So, I mean, because you must have got little like flashes of. Well, it's probably has it changed since did the French ruin it, or is it?
No, they just trashed the tombs. But like I said, my bones were thrown out in the street. So, so the physical presence of that body was gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with things. But
Yeah, the energy spirit.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on graveyards. I don't see why. People go to graveyards. Oh, it's scary. I think it's just basically in their mind. I mean, that's where your body just dies, and you have no connection to that
You
graveyard.
want to hang around. Unless somebody's visiting your body, I think, or maybe you would check it out and say, maybe at that point, but I don't think they'd hang around there.
But you get all these teams that go to graveyards. And
Yeah,
it's like, all right, what memory does that have of the soul that died there? It's basically where you just got dropped in the ground and then you moved on.
Yeah.
You have, you got to find it more in their houses or whatever,
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, see, now that place would have his energy all over it. He had such a passion for it, and he did so much to make it happen.
Exactly.
Do we
going back, I was just saying that going back to Monroe Institute, I got something that I learned there that kind of pertains to your ghost hunting efforts, where, Bill described the different dimensions that you pass through to go out of body, and so the technique is that when you first leave your physical body, you're in the ethereal dimension, which is where most or all the ghosts that you actually encounter are, because they didn't pass through to go back to heaven, if you will. So it's kind of like the no man land between the physical world and heaven is the ethereal dimension.
Oh, really?
And that's where you first pop out of your body, and then you sort of have to pop out of it again to go to heaven. And so a lot of the out-of-body explorers really kind of stick around the ethereal. And it's there that I call what I call low spirits. And actually, going back to that Shem argument, I remember what caused the argument with Shem, what kicked it off, was I asked him a question. I go, hey, all these lives that are revealed to me are male, and my guides are telling me that I was never a female, and you know, you've always, you know, you are both. You know, you're both male and female in your past lives. You kind of switch off. And I go, was I ever a female? Because they're saying I wasn't a female. And he goes, well, who are you talking to? You know, this Shem, this channel spirit guy.
Yeah.
I go, well, I'm talking to my guides. He goes, no, you're not. You're talking to the low spirits. He's kind of like looking down his nose because you know, he has no respect for the ghosts who don't go back to heaven to, you know, get back with the program.
Right.
They're taking a walkabout, if you will, and they're getting off the merry-go-round,
Yeah,
and they're sticking in the ethereal dimension, and that is where you got what you guys are encountering.
Yep.
Are the ghosts there? You know, the low spirits.
Wow, that's
And
kind of cool.
yeah, well, Bill's kind of fleshing out what you're dealing with, because ghosts like my dad went back to heaven, and they have every right, you know, come back and they don't come back to the physical world. What they really do is they step into the ethereal world, which is the exact, almost exact duplicate of this world. And that's where the psychics can look into. They actually see the ethereal world.
Well, it's
And
safe.
so when I'm with Brenda, and she'll say, "Oh, your dad just entered the room." Well, it's not that he physically entered the physical room. He entered the duplicate ethereal room, which is overlaid on the physical level. So it's kind of like the fourth dimension, if you will.
Isn't that
And so that's what she sees,
Yeah.
and that's where your ghosts are.
I wonder.
That validates what we think.
I wonder if some of them don't know how to get to the next one, or they just
I think
kinda,
some
what, are they
choose.
lazy and they just don't want to.
No, I mean, what we think is some choose to stay behind. And my theory is, and you might have a different answer, Frank, but Jeff, we know that some spirit will choose to stay behind, whether it's unfinished business or it's looking after a loved one, or if they were, you know, their life was ended abruptly, or you know, suicide, things like that, right? I mean, I guess they choose to stay behind. Is that right? What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, because once you get to the ethereal dimension, there's no time again. And so, you know, you may see, you know, ghosts from you know, Salem, Massachusetts from 200 years ago.
Right.
You think, oh, wow, they stick around for 200 years. Well, they're not. I mean, it's just a matter of seconds for them, or minutes. It's no big deal.
It's coming quick, yeah.
Yeah, that's what always building
There's
up
no time.
You know, like
why do they why do they stay behind?
No,
Or why do they come back?
They have no time. There's no time
there's
where
no-
they.
Well, we've always thought that hearing it's from a different dimension too. It was kind of, he hit right on that, you know, a different, just close, but not quite here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I'll tell you something that's even cooler about the ethereal dimension, because there's a purpose for it. And that dimension is kind of like a harbinger of things that we manifest in the physical world first shows up in the ethereal dimension. And Bill gave a great example of it. He had a house, I think, in Detroit. And in this house, he would always do his out-of-body exercises in, it wasn't an office, it was someplace that had a nice, comfortable sofa. And by the sofa was this fireplace. And I think it was a brick fireplace. And so when he would go out of body, the first thing he'd notice would be the brick fireplace. He'd pass it by, right?
Yeah.
So he and his wife decided to remodel that room. And they were designing it. And they go, well, let's turn this into a stone facade. You know, let's replace the brick with stone, right? And so they were designing it with an architect or whatever. And so before construction started, it was still brick. But when Bill would go out of body during the design process, he actually saw the stone facade in the ethereal dimension.
Oh yeah, because that's what he was manifesting. Because that's what he was thinking about.
Exactly. And so the stones, and so he was able to see what it was going to be in the future there.
Yeah.
So eventually they had a construction project, and then it really was that way in the physical. And so there's a purpose for the ethereal world too, besides having ghost spirits run amok through it.
Yeah, that's kind of encouraging, knowing it helps you to open up to receive more, knowing that that's how it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because I mean, everyone, you know, they try to manifest, and then they're like, you know, they're like, oh, it's coming. You know, my theory on that is, it's like once you put it out there, let it go, because it's like, say you buy a sofa on Sunday, and they're like, okay, we're going to deliver it Thursday. You don't sit around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday waiting for it to come, because you know it's coming Thursday, so you just let it go.
You don't sit around because the sofa's not there yet.
Yeah, so you just let it go. You know, and you don't just wait. Where is it? You know, and when it's coming Thursday.
Well, I'll bet, though, that if you went out about it on that Tuesday or Wednesday, you probably should have sofa there.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, it'd be great for you doing construction. You can foresee your projects, you know.
I actually do.
You know,
yeah, or when I'm framing an addition, you know, I visualize it first.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it becomes reality. But that's easy because I can do it. You know, but some stuff, it's, you know, it's that's kind of cool, though, that all that stuff's floating around in there for you that you've been thinking about. That gives me new hope.
New hope and direction.
I'm going to be a manifested fool.
Frank, what is a typical but surprising response you get from spirits?
Well, you know, that was early on when I first started using Brenda to reach out to the ones who have passed. I saw something really surprising in them, is that they apologize a lot. You know, like my dad and I, well, actually my mom and I had this dispute a couple of years before my dad passed away, and my dad took my mom's side incorrectly in this dispute, but so there's some hard feelings. And so the first thing he said when we made connection, he goes, I'm sorry. And he's apologizing for that bad time between us. You know, I thought that was amazing. But then when I took my brother, I got my brother Dave, I said, a couple months later, I said, you got to try this out. You got to talk to Dad. And so I took my brother. My brother came down to Columbus, and I took him to Brenda. And so it's kind of interesting because my brother always used my dad for advice. And my brother was going through some marital problems at his time. His wife was stepping out on him, and he couldn't figure out what to do. Dave was always a big procrastinator.
Right.
And my dad would always push him. And so we went to this meeting, or this reading, and my dad shows up, and he's pounding on the table. Goes, make up your mind.
Wow.
Make up your mind. So it was just like life. But after that event with my dad left then. He delivered his message and then moved on. Somebody then this. My brother was in his mid-40s when he had this reading. So this old baker who passed away came through, and Brenda goes, well, do you know this guy? I forgot his name. And Dave goes, yeah, I used to work for him when I was a teenager in this bakery. And, you know, why would a spirit, you know, come through like that for Dave for that? And they weren't that close. But he said, I'm sorry. I should have taken a greater interest in my employees' lives.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's kind of interesting about the regret that the spirits had about things that they did or did not do in life. So I just find that interesting.
That is very interesting. That is very interesting. We've heard that before too. So tell our listeners about your new book.
Well, like I mentioned before, it's called Frank and Lorraine, a second love story. But there's all kinds of hijinks that goes on in this book. The spirit world is encouraging us to get together. And so in my meditations, you know, I'm kind of incredulous that, you know, even though I'm not a Christian, I don't come from a Christian background, you know, there's a Judeo-Christian morals that's ingrained in me. You know, like, hey, you know, cheating on your wife is not a good thing.
Right.
You know, that you don't break up a family, you have kids. You know, But yet I'm being encouraged to do that. And the reason that I am is that my wife and I have drifted apart over the past 10 years. We really didn't have a romantic relationship anymore. We're more business partners and parents. And so we sort of stopped living life, if you will.
Yeah.
Other than the business and the kid. And so...
Your vibrations...
I'm sorry?
Your vibrations change.
Yeah. Well, but not only that, but we're wasting our lives now. You know, we stopped living.
Mm-hmm.
And so to the spirit world, that's not good. And so to them, it's like, hey, time to move on.
Yeah.
And so what I was, so in my meditations, I'm asking on the side, I go, okay, well, if this, you know, because this woman, even though we're in our 50s, I mean, she is amazingly preserved. She swears she's 35.
Yeah.
And we still have that physical magnetism. So it's like we're two magnets together. Good for me, that's damn right. So, but she's also a procrastinator, and so she's saying, well, how do I move on from my husband? You know, her marriage also is dead. But
does he know that?
So I'm sorry.
Does he know that?
Oh well, yeah, that's what you get into, because this is where the crap hits the fan. Is because I would go to my psychic trader Brenda, who's a great guide in all this, because she told me right from the beginning. She said, well, you know, you guys should be together, but this husband is not going to go down easy. He's going to fight this every bit of the way.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a dominating person over her. Yeah. So that's part of her lesson is to get out of the thumb of domineering men.
Yeah.
And so I'm helping her. And so
sounds familiar.
Huh?
Sounds familiar to my life.
There you go.
So, guy.
Well, go ahead, Frank.
So I'm thinking, I'm walking the dog, you know, and I'm kind of thinking, I'm kind of connecting to the source. I go, boy, this is a tough problem to solve here. I said, it'd be really helpful if he was having an affair. And I go, but that's not going to happen. And I go, well, I said, hey, source, is he having an affair? And I get a yes answer. He's a traveling salesman, right? So I go to Brenda. I go, hey, I said, the source is telling me he's having an affair. What's going on with him? And she goes, well, let's see. Does he go to Michigan? I go, yeah. Well, he's got a woman there. Does he go to Pennsylvania? Yeah. He's got a woman there. Her name's Samantha. And he's got one in Cleveland, too. And so I go, oh, wow. Now all I have to do is nail this guy, and then it's easy for her to leave, right? Well, one way to prove it is then to put one of those tracking devices on his car, right? You know those tracking devices where you can track a car by GPS?
Yeah, like GPS, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I buy one for her, and I meet her, and I give her this tracking device. And I go, okay, here's where you stick it. She's all concerned about this. She goes, you don't know this guy. She goes, my husband is just meticulous about his car. He's hard to get into, and he's always into stuff. I'm so afraid he's going to find this. I go, oh, no. He's got a big magnet on it. Just stick it underneath the seat and be fine. And so we actually had a spirit guide assigned to us to help us, you know, help us split up our marriages and then get together. Her name was Zoe. And so it's like, she must be a specialist in this. And so Zoe, I connected her, and actually Lorraine also connected her too. And so she's like our guide in this, a specialist. And so she's telling Lorraine, get this tracking device on the car by the 1st of February. So I got it to her. I told her how to use it. But Lorraine kept procrastinating putting the thing on the car. And everywhere went by, and it's like we had a chance to catch him at it. And it came and went, and this spirit guy was ticked at Lorraine because she wouldn't cooperate. She was so fearful. And so finally in March, she gets up the courage to go and puts the thing in his car, right? And so I'm able to track him from my computer in Columbus. So the first day, I'm just watching him drive around. No big deal. The second day, he finds the dang thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was right. And he comes home and says, Lorraine, somebody's tracking me. And
Oh,
so
no.
eventually it comes out that it was her, and that and now he knows that he's onto her. Of course, he denies everything.
Right.
And so then we get into trouble where I go to my second trainer like every 2 months to get more inside information. Well, Brenda records our readings on MP3s and then sends it to me via email for my records, right? Yeah, I never know when I'm writing a new book, right? And so I have it on my computer, but I have it in a way where it can't be found. But also, on my cell phone, my iPhone, I also have my email on that too. Well, relationships between my wife and I are really going downhill at this point, and we're not doing well together. And she's getting suspicious of me, of my behavior is different towards her. And so she gets into my phone and for some reason finds these psychic readings and finds out that I'm having an affair with Lorraine. And then the crap hits the fan. And so that starts my split up from her and me moving out. But what also happens is that I sent those things also to Lorraine. And her husband, being always watching her and suspicious, finds those same psychic readings on her computer, listens to it, and then the crap hits the fan about that. And so like I said, there's lots of drama going on. So,
you write a book about this.
yeah, that's what I mean. About the spirits called... Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, but that guy is also is becoming psychic himself, but he doesn't really realize it. I mean, his dead mother-in-law, Lorraine's mom, talks to him, and so he gets insights, and so he's just going nuts because he knows that something's going on, and so like I said, there's all kinds of drama here. He blocks my phone from being able to call Lorraine's phone, but I'm able to arrange her to have other phones, and so all kinds of stuff like this going on. Drama for the women. I think that they like it's kind of fun. But it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out.
So where is it at right now? So she's still with
Where right now, I'm talking from my I'm talking from my apartment, and I'm very I left like a 6,000 square foot house to live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but I'm much happier here. Trust me.
So, but where's this relationship at right now? She's still with her husband?
Yeah, but she's trying to get out of it. So just a matter of the right timing.
It's all up to her. She needs the strength to break away, you know?
Well, actually, this is her lesson. I realize that now. Is that the reason we didn't get married the first time around is that she had this domineering guy she couldn't get rid of. She was engaged to this guy. He's real domineering. She broke off the engagement, but she never broke it off from him. At least sexually, yeah, but not friendship-wise. And so her and I could never grow in our relationship because this other guy was there. So eventually, this guy dies of cancer. But by the time he dies of cancer, I'm already gone, and I'm with my current wife.
Yeah. Right.
And so she blew her chance to have the strength to move past a dominant guy the first time around. So she gets a second chance with her current husband, who's a domineering guy. And
That's
so
common, yeah.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah, it seems that's the way they go.
Yeah.
Just they're attracted to the
Some
dominating
do.
guy. But anyway.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's all part of the right plan, how
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the story. And
Very
there's a lot of my dad's involved in this because he's cheering us on, and so's her mom too. It's kind of funny, I'll have a conversation with Lorraine, and Lorraine will hear her mom making comments in her head in the background. So it's like this is a great show for the spirits to watch. They're having a great time watching us fumble down here.
So you say Lorraine's mother talks to her husband. Does she like him, or does she just like harass him?
Oh, she's tricked at him. She
She must hate him because the way she treats her daughter.
Right.
Yeah, well, Yeah, because it's kind of funny. Her brother passed away too, and so both of them talked to her. And so when I found out that he was having an affair, and she was asking her brother and her mother for confirmation, they didn't want to confirm it because she'd be too upset about that. But eventually, but Lorraine said she's mad at him for some reason, and so and eventually came out. But it's kind of funny. He to this day, denies that he's had an affair, but he got caught red-handed at it. So
yeah, it's so
kind of
funny.
interesting.
He's out doing that, and then that just kind of proves that, because he's always worried about her doing it. I mean, what you do, and you think that it's a mirror of yourself, So that's why
Exactly.
he's worried about her doing it, because he's doing it.
That's exactly it. That's very true.
So.
All right. That sounds good. So, Frank, tell our listeners, we're just about out of time now, where they can get your books and, again, how they can contact you or follow you on social media.
Sure. Once again, my book is called My Journey Down the Reincarnation Highway. It's available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Google Books. And if you want to know where to get it or other locations, just go to my website, www.reincarnationhighway.com. And there's a Buy My Book page which shows the different outlets where you can get it from. And also check out my blog too, because it has my psychic adventures with my mother-in-law who passed away a year and a half ago, but she still interacts with me, which is a story in itself. Lovely woman. And then look for my new book coming out late this year, Frank and Lorraine, A Psychic Love Affair. So,
That sounds great.
Should be fun.
You're also on Facebook, right?
I'm on Facebook, yeah. That's not that big of a deal, but yes, I am.
Oh, that's growing. I mean, a lot of our followers are on Facebook.
Hey, Frank, you can't end the book yet, though. The story isn't ended.
Well, I can. You know why? Because you have to wait for Lorraine to make up her mind. It'll be 10 years from now, so I got to cut it off. I think I'll put the ending on a webpage someplace. Say, hey, go here. I'll tell you what the latest status is. I can't wait for her.
Book's gonna get out. Can't wait.
All right.
That's right.
Frank Maris, thank you so much for coming on Everything Paranormal with Marc and Jeff.
Yeah.
It's been our pleasure. You've been a great guest.
Good show, Frank.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
All right.
No problem.
Thank you. Folks, make sure you check him out. Frank Maris from Ohio. And you know where you get his book now. Have a great night, Frank.
Thank you, guys. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Jeff, so what do you think? That was a great show.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, good. About the reincarnation.
Yeah.
I often wonder what I was